Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this LED headlamp. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful, I'll put a link to this in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So this isn't a traditional LED headlamp. It has a unique feature that it has a wide cob or chip on board. It's a type of LED on the front. So it has a wide dispersal of LED light. So it says cob plus LED rechargeable sensor headlamp. So this has a sensor on it so you can turn it on by waving your hand in front of it. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So it says cob light, LED light, has a USB charging port, mini size. So here we have instructions. So it says on off button, power display, sensor reception, sensor emission, spotlight, cob floodlight, and sensor switch. So the product parameters. So for material it says silica gel, but I think that means silicone. And ABS plastic. Light source is cob plus LED. Rechargeable LED batteries. The work modes are cob high, cob low, LED high, LED low. It says as shown in the picture, press the sensor switch, wave the hand at the sensor reception to enter the sensor mode. So the sensor mode is if you have it on your head and say you're hiking on a trail at night, you can wave your hand in front of it to turn it off if you're passing another hiker and you don't want to blind them. Then when you pass them, you wave it again, you can turn it back on. Or say you're reading a map. You're at a picnic table reading a map with someone and you want to listen to them, you can turn the light off, point your face towards them, listen, look back down at the map, turn it back on easily without pressing the button. Rechargeable, designed with USB input, equipped with the USB cable, allows for quick and convenient charging. Red indicator charging, green indicator fully charged. Warning, do not look directly at the cob light. This is not a toy and should not be handled by infants or children. Children under 6 years of age should not use this product without adult supervision. So the listing on Amazon shows more specs. It says 1200 lumens, 230-degree wide beam. So I didn't see the battery life in the literature, but according to some things I've read on the product page, it's about 3 to 4 hours on the brightest setting. So if you want to extend the battery life, use it on one of the lower settings. So this is the silicone rubber here. This is the spotlight on the side, and this is the charging cable. So this charges with USB-C. So it has a USB-C port here, so we can plug that in. And then I can plug this into a charger to charge it. So you can see right now it's charging at about 0.67 amps. So this is waterproof. I didn't see an IP rating on it, so I don't know that you'd want to submerge this, but it should work in rain and shouldn't be bothered by sweat and things like that. So here you can see the charge light. So this is a silicone rubber here. This is kind of a foam plastic where it goes up against your head, and then it has this elastic band in the back. So you would wear this around your head like such. So typically you should charge this all the way before you use it, but I want to demonstrate it. So we have the power button here. So that is the cob there. It's very bright. It's hard to see, but there's a lot of individual little LEDs in this strip. So it has a very even light. So this could be good for say automotive work where you want to have some peripheral light, or say cooking at night. If you're cooking at your camp and you want to be able to see like, where did I put the knife? Oh, it's over to the right side. This would spread that light out nice and evenly. So that's the high mode. That's the low mode. So this is flashing right now on camera, but to me it's just dimmer. So the way these LEDs work is they flash incredibly rapidly to dim them, but it can't be seen by humans, but it comes up on camera. So when I hit it again, it turns it off. So it looks like the way this works is when you hit this button, it changes modes, but if you wait a few seconds and you hit it again, it just turns it off. So if you want to get to a different mode after you've had it on, you want to shut it off and then turn it back on. I think that's actually kind of a nice feature because when it's on, a lot of times you just want to shut it off quickly. This way you don't have to cycle through all of the modes to do that. So here's the bright, here's the dim, here is the headlight on the side, and it has a dim mode there. That's also flashing, and then we can turn it off. Now in any of the modes, we can hold down the power button, like so, and that turns on an emergency flash mode there. So if you have an emergency, like say you're lost somewhere, you could turn this on and it would help people find you. So you could leave this on your head, or if you have the capability, you could say even put this up higher in a tree and kind of point it towards where the rescuers might come from. And this should attract a lot of attention. Or if airplanes would be searching for you, you could point that up. I'm guessing this would also preserve battery life a little bit. So then we have the wave sensor here, that's on the side. So now the funny thing, I was trying to demonstrate it here. I waved across it and waved back and it shut it off. So typically you would wave like that. That would turn it on, that would turn it off. So one of these emits some infrared light, the other one receives it, and when it notices it flash, it turns it on and off. It's a motion sensor. So you could actually potentially use this kind of like a motion light if you're trying to detect something, like an animal or something in the woods. You could put this on a tree or something, and then if it walked by, it would trigger that. So that could be a nice useful feature in certain situations. So I'm going to put this on my head and we'll take a look at it. Before I put that on, I want to show how to adjust it here. You just hold onto the plastic and pull on that. And you can actually pull on the backside a little bit. That'll help. And that can shorten it. And it has adjustments on both sides. Okay, so I think the easy way to put this on would be to look where the foam is and kind of get that even. And the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. Put that even on your forehead, and that should get the cob mostly centered here. So now I can turn it on by pressing the button, and I'm new to this, so it'll take me a second. So it's the one further back on my head. There we go. So there's the cob. There's cob low, There's the headlight, headlight low. And then of course we have the flash mode. There we go. So having this on my head just for a couple seconds here, it feels very comfortable. There's no pressure points anywhere. A typical headlamp will sometimes press in here a little bit. I usually find them pretty comfortable either way. But since this is more of a band, it feels very comfortable. You don't really feel this weight here. It's very lightweight. This would be very easy to take off and wash too, since it's silicone. So you'd probably want to make sure you have the USB port sealed up here. Probably even kind of hold it down away from the water, and you could rinse this part specifically in this where it could absorb some sweat. So now I'm going to point my camera at the wall and I'll turn this on. We'll see the light that this casts. Okay, so I don't have this on my head. It's a little difficult to put on my head for this demonstration, so I'm kind of holding it. So this is the Cobb here. It has a lot of even light. So there aren't any really hard to find edges here. It just kind of fades off when it gets to the edges. Whereas like a traditional spotlight or flashlight will have kind of harder edges. And that's on the lower. Nope, I turned it off. There's the lower. And there's the spotlight. So you can see the band on the left side's getting in the way. If it was on your head, it would be pulled away like this. And there's the lower spotlight. So it's probably kind of hard to tell the difference on camera because the camera will adjust there. But on the main Cobb mode, it is a very nice even light. So this would work very well for looking at, say, a car engine bay. And actually what I'll do is I'm going to put the headband on, I'm going to run out to my car, pop the hood open, and just shoot a quick video of the hood open with this light illuminating it, to give you an example of what this would be like working on a car with this. Okay, so here's the engine bay. You can see it really lights everything up here. I do have a little bit of light in this room. Let me actually turn this off. So this is without the light. So you can see there's a little light coming on the side, but you definitely can't see over to the left at all. It's very dark. That's on. This is on low. Here's the spotlight. So you can see this is more like a traditional headlamp, and it lights things up, but it's just not quite as bright as that Cobb with that wide cast of light. So if you're, say, looking for a leak or something, this might be a nice way to look at the whole engine, and maybe you see something leaking kind of off to here, you could turn the spotlight on to, dig in a little bit deeper. But this would also work great for changing tires, things like that. If you look on the ground looking for a lug nut, this would be great because it casts a lot of light. So that's the LED headlamp with a Cobb and a spotlight on it. So I've used a number of headlamps over the years. I've never had one like this. I think this would be great for doing task work, reading maps, cooking, working on cars, things like that. I like the really large spread of light. Sometimes you don't really need a spotlight. Like when I'm working on a car, under a car, I don't necessarily need to illuminate just one spot. I'd like to illuminate everything. Like if I'm inspecting a car, I want to kind of see everything. And this really puts a broad light out there, so I really like that. But then there are times when you want a spotlight, and it does have one here. Now I will say, the spotlight's probably not great for like search and rescue. It's not going to throw light hundreds of yards into the woods. It's not really made for that either. But if you want a little bit more pinpointed light, you do have that. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.